Last week, I shared 4 strategies you can use to seduce a submissive through both verbal and nonverbal communication. But today, we're turning up the heat with more practical ways you can take deep ownership of your submissive through effective conversation. If you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I'm Miss LX and I'm so glad you're here. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you won't miss anything new. And if you find this content helpful, you can support the work that goes into this channel over at my Patreon, patreon.com/LXerotica. And if you go there today, you will find my Dominant Communication Guide, which has over a dozen practical communication strategies and over 35 erotic script ideas to help you explore your dominant voice. So when I reference taking ownership of a submissive, I'm referring to the process of consuming more and more of your submissive's mental and emotional territory until your desires become their desires. Your will becomes their want, and they feel a deep sense of attachment and devotion toward you. In other words, the better you are at inducement, that is, seducing your submissive to your way of thinking and operating, as we discussed last week, the easier it will be to take ownership of your submissive. And the first strategy I would suggest in this ownership process is to have a clear understanding about what you wish to communicate and accomplish. Ambiguity produces confusion, but clarity produces confidence and power. So, before you go to confront or command a submissive, first determine what your goal is. What are you trying to accomplish with your communication? When you have a clear goal in mind, you can then work backward and even sit down and script what you wish to say before sharing it with your submissive. So take your time and figure out not only what you wish to say, but how it would be most effectively received in order to accomplish your desired goal. Next, view your dialogue with your submissive, especially in a scene, as a tennis match. Okay? Now, I don't mean to focus on a winner or a loser, you against them. No, that's not my point. You need to maintain unity with your submissive, okay? What I'm referencing is, especially when dealing with a newbie, a brat, a smartass masochist, you need to view their communication as volleys that you need to respond to in order to get a point. That is, in order to maintain your dominance over them. And a perfect example of this strategy can be found in the story The Breaking from my second installment of BDSM erotica, Red Room Diaries. He is careful not to touch me as he gingerly maneuvers his hands, and I drop the metal device in his palms. Lock yourself in. But, mistress? I do not acknowledge him until I am settled back into my throne. What? It's a little difficult at the moment. Do you honestly think I didn't see that when I made the request? Yes, mistress, he begins as he tries to maneuver himself into the cool metal. Oh, poor little beta. So eager and excited. Pathetic. Yes, mistress, I am a pathetic beta. I am your slave, your loser. I will always lose to you. He whimpers as he finally locks himself in. I am your slave, your loser. I will always lose to you, pathetically. Good boy. Now come drop the keys in my lap. Did you catch what our femdom did in this example? She had a specific goal in mind, as we discussed in the last point, and she volleyed with her sub in communication until she scored the point and accomplished her desired outcome. Additionally, you will need to determine your submissive's objective in communication and top it. And that is why it's important to view communication, especially in a scene, as almost a tennis match between yourself and your submissive. And as an example, let's take a look at another story from Volume 2 of Red Room Diaries called Pegged, where we have a dominant switch challenging our femdom in this scene. This is my territory, not yours. Now stay silent while you open your fucking mouth. I move my hand away and his tone is nothing but a challenge. And the replacement for my safe word? I'm going to make this very simple for you, Beta. I place the gag on the side table but keep my crop in my hand. You contacted me. You trusted me and my reputation enough to consent to this session. Yet here you are, wasting my time and playing games like a little bitch. I point my crop toward the door. Get the fuck out of my presence and go explain to Alice how you are too weak and pathetic to do something for 2 fucking hours that you demand of her daily. Then I see it. His brow first softens, then drops in the same instant, and I know I'm finally making ground. His reply confirms it. You're right. I'm being an asshole. I do want this. I want to be better for Alice. Better. Now strip. In this example, our femdom was able to determine that the dominant switch was pushing back out of ego, not actual fear or insecurity. So it was that ego that needed to be topped, and that's exactly what she was able to do with her words. And finally, learn to anticipate your submissive's likely expectations or predictions and either say or do something different or unexpected. This manufactured element of surprise will also increase their submissive arousal as they're presented with the reality that they're not in control and they do not have the privilege, yes, the privilege of prediction. Being present and noticing your submissive's nuances and patterns is key to effective domination. So stay present, observe carefully, and take note of the patterns that you begin to notice in your submissive. And again, if you want over 35 erotic script ideas to start exploring your dominant energy and voice, just go over to patreon.com/LXerotica to get instant access to my dominant communication guide. And be sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on because next week I'm sharing 4 more ways you can break down your submissive with your words in an effective and healthy way for deeper subspace and bliss.